So, what's the best way to get rid of belly fat? My patients are always asking me that question. And it really, really bothers them, especially my female patients over 40. And I get it. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to help you understand why we develop belly fat in the first place. And that will help you understand how best to get rid of it. And I'm going to give you my 8 best tips for getting rid of belly fat. Now, if you don't already know me, I'm Dr. Angela Zechmann. I'm a medical doctor and I specialize in weight loss medicine. I have both a clinic and I have an online program where I help people lose weight and keep it off. Be sure to like this video, leave me a comment, and subscribe so that you can be notified when I post more great videos. Okay, so what is it that causes belly fat? Here's what a lot of people think, and this is what we've been learning from decades worth of dieting. Most people think the reason that they have belly fat is because they're eating too much and they're not exercising enough. And so the answer is lower your calorie intake by dieting, starving yourself, and increase your exercise so that you can burn off calories. Now, the problem with this approach is it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Well, because we're missing a very important key here. There's a fundamental flaw, and the flaw is we are not taking into account the effects of insulin. What's insulin? Insulin is a hormone that gets secreted by your pancreas. Your pancreas is a largely misunderstood organ in your digestive system, and it is working really, really hard these days trying to keep your blood sugar under control. That's what it does. It secretes insulin to keep your blood sugar under control. So anytime you eat anything that raises your blood sugar, you're going to get a whole bunch of insulin that's going to get produced to bring your blood sugar back down. Now, here's what you need to understand about insulin. It also makes fat, in particular, visceral fat. You may have heard of that word. You may not have. It's belly fat. Okay. So insulin makes belly fat. And insulin prevents fat from coming out of fat cells. So when your insulin levels are high, not only is your blood sugar going to drop, but you're going to make belly fat and you're not going to be able to burn it. That is not the situation that we want to have. I remember going on diets when I was younger, and I was told that a good snack would be those red vine licorice sticks. Do you have any idea how much sugar is in those licorice sticks? The first ingredient is corn syrup. And 3 of those, which is a serving, has about 25 grams of sugar. Now, I usually ate more than that. So here I was really watching my calories, eating red vines, and my insulin levels were having to go up high, and that just creates belly fat and prevents burning it. So can you see that in order to lose belly fat, you have to lower your insulin levels, no matter what the calorie count is of the food that you're eating? Does that make sense? So here are my top 8 tips for how to reduce belly fat by reducing your insulin levels. Tip number 1, beware of sugary sodas and energy drinks. These things are very high in sugar. And they are going to really raise your blood sugar, and they're going to cause a big insulin response, and they're going to make belly fat. As a matter of fact, they are creating diabetics all over the place, and I see this all day, every day. I don't think anyone realizes how dangerous these little cans are. They're just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than cigarettes. I have regularly had patients who heard me tell them this information, go home, stop drinking soda, and come back, and the very next month, they've lost 10 pounds of fat easily, just getting rid of sugary drinks. Okay, step number 2, beware the flavored lattes. Lattes can have 45 to 55 grams of sugar in them. Think about your chai tea lattes or your pumpkin spice latte, or depending on what time of year it is, or your mochas. All of those coffee drinks have got tons of sugar in them. Don't get confused if it's a skinny latte. That just means they took the fat out, but they still left all the insulin producing sugar in there. So beware the lattes. Tip number 3, watch food labels for added sugar. Also, check the menus of your favorite fast food restaurants for sugar in their items. So for example, yogurts, those low-fat yogurts have a ton of sugar in them. Some of them have as much as 45 grams of sugar. There's all kinds of sugar in things like ketchup and tomato sauce and salad dressings and all kinds of frozen foods. And they even put sugar in bread these days. So always check your food labels. Also check the nutrition label on the website of fast food restaurants that you go to. For example, Panera has an autumn squash soup that is chock full of sugar. They added 30 grams of sugar to autumn squash soup. And Wendy's has a salad that has 40 grams of sugar. That's a lot of insulin and a lot of belly fat, and that's not going to serve you. Tip number 4, be careful with carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates don't taste sweet, but they get digested and turned into blood sugar, and they're going to raise your blood sugar and cause an insulin response too. So you want to be careful with rice and pasta and bread and chips and those little pretzels that are so addictive and all kinds of carbohydrate-laden foods that might not taste sweet, but they actually are going to raise your insulin and they're going to make it hard for you to burn off belly fat. Tip number 5, avoid fruit juices and smoothies. Fruits are good for you. They have sugar in them, but they also have fiber in them that helps mitigate that blood sugar rise. If you juice them, however, you are really concentrating that sugar and you're taking out the fiber. And basically you get a sugar hit the same as a soft drink. So be very careful with fruit juices. I would avoid them. I would also be very careful with fruit smoothies. For example, Jamba Juice has a smoothie that's got 90 grams of sugar in it. That's a lot. Okay. So be super careful with fruit juices and smoothies. Tip number 6, be careful with alcohol. So margaritas, sugary drinks, and beer have sugar in them. There are also many alcoholic beverages that don't have a lot of sugar in them per se, but what I want you to know is that alcohol goes straight to the liver and gets turned into fat and then stored. And so you can, if you find that your weight loss has stalled and you're continuing to drink, say, a glass of red wine every night, you might want to think about that habit. I had a patient, she just did a month without having her one glass of red wine every day, and she lost 8 pounds of fat. That's pretty incredible. So be careful with alcohol. Tip number 7, learn how to manage stress. Now, why would I say that? The stress hormone is called cortisol, and cortisol gets your body ready to run or fight. And so that means that the liver is going to make sugar. The liver is going to provide you with the energy you need to do that. So when your body is under the influence of cortisol, your insulin levels are going to run higher because your body's making sugar. So you want to really do what you can to reduce your stress levels. I recommend meditation. Everybody should meditate. I also recommend regular exercise, not because it's burning off calories, but because it's helping you manage stress and burning off those stress hormones for you and keeping you feeling more stable mentally and out of the refrigerator or pantry emotionally eating. Tip number 8 is sleep. You need 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep every night. If you are not getting enough sleep, that's very stressful on the body and your cortisol levels are going to be higher. So it's super important to make sure that you make time for adequate rest. So those are my 8 tips for helping you to get rid of belly fat by lowering your insulin levels. Make sure that you are staying away from sugary sodas and energy drinks. Be super careful with those lattes. Be careful with fruit juices. Avoid fruit juices and smoothies. Check the sugar content of every food that you eat. Be careful with carbohydrates. They can cause blood sugar rises and insulin spikes. Make sure that you're managing stress well. Make sure you're getting the rest you need. And be careful with alcohol. Here is a pro tip for you. Getting off sugar is hard. It's actually a drug and it's 8 times more powerful than cocaine. So if you want to get off sugar, you need to go through a drug withdrawal. So I'm here to help you. I've got some downloads for you. They are in the links are in the comments. So I have a download, 3 steps to break your sugar addiction, which takes you through the process step by step. I have another download, 5-day sugar detox menu, which will give you everything you need for 5 days to get off sugar. And I also have a video that I did, how to kick sugar. So all of those are there available for you if you want to make this change in your life and get rid of belly fat and get yourself feeling better again. That's there for you. Okay, if you have enjoyed this video, make sure to like it and comment and let me know how you're doing, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.